The invitation was formal, embossed paper. Join us for the Henderson Memorial Medical Wing dedication ceremony and fundraising gala. My father's name was printed prominently as the event organizer and primary donor. He'd spent 3 years planning this, a state-of-the-art neurology wing at Regional Medical Center where he served on the board of directors. I received the invitation at my apartment, where I'd been living alone for the past 6 months while my health steadily deteriorated. I was 26 years old, a graphic designer who'd recently gone freelance because office work had become impossible. The headaches, the dizziness, the vision problems, all symptoms my family dismissed as stress or anxiety or my tendency toward melodrama. My older brother Carter called when the invitations went out. "You coming to Dad's big night? He's expecting the whole family there. Lots of important donors, hospital executives, the works." "I don't know if I can make it," I said, lying on my couch because standing made the room spin. "I haven't been feeling well." Carter sighed, the sound full of familiar frustration. "Emma, you're always not feeling well. Dad's been planning this for years. Can you just push through for one night? It's important to him." I'd been to 3 different doctors in the past 4 months. The first said it was migraines. The second suggested anxiety medication. The third, Dr. Patricia Martinez at the University Medical Center, had ordered an MRI after actually listening to my symptoms for more than 5 minutes. I was scheduled to get the results the day before my father's gala. "I'll try," I told Carter because it was easier than explaining that walking across my apartment sometimes took 10 minutes. My mother texted later, "Emma, your father needs you at the fundraiser. Please don't make excuses. This is his legacy event. Wear something appropriate, there will be very wealthy donors there." No one asked what was actually wrong. No one asked about the doctor's appointments I'd mentioned. When I tried telling my family about the MRI, my father had cut me off. "Emma, you need to stop obsessing over every little symptom. You're young and healthy. This is just stress. Maybe if you had a real job with structure you'd feel better." Dr. Martinez's office called the day before the gala. "Emma, we need you to come in tomorrow morning. Dr. Martinez wants to discuss your MRI results in person." My stomach dropped. "In person? Is it serious?" "Dr. Martinez prefers to discuss results face-to-face. Can you come at 9 a.m.? I sat in Dr. Martinez's office the next morning, watching her pull up images on her computer screen. My brain rendered in grayscale cross-sections that looked alien and frightening. "Emma, I want to be direct with you." Dr. Martinez turned the screen toward me. "You have a large arteriovenous malformation, an AVM, in your right temporal lobe. It's approximately 4 centimeters and based on these images, it's been bleeding intermittently. That's causing your symptoms." The room tilted, and not from dizziness this time. "Bleeding? In my brain?" "The AVM is a tangle of abnormal blood vessels. They're fragile and can rupture. You've likely had several small bleeds, which explains the escalating symptoms." She clicked through more images, pointing to areas I couldn't interpret. "Emma, this is serious. You need treatment, either surgery or radiation therapy, possibly both. Without intervention, there's a significant risk of a major hemorrhage." "How significant?" "High enough that I'm recommending we schedule surgery within the next 2 weeks." Her voice was gentle but firm. "I know this is frightening, but we caught it and we can treat it. You were right to keep pushing for answers." I thought about my father dismissing my symptoms as stress. My mother suggesting I was being dramatic. Carter implying I was making excuses to avoid family obligations. "The fundraiser tonight," I said. "My father's dedicating a neurology wing. Should I still go?" Dr. Martinez looked at me carefully. "That's your decision. But Emma, you need to start taking this seriously even if others haven't been. This isn't something you can minimize." I left her office with a folder full of scans, surgical consultation information, and a brain that was apparently trying to kill me. The gala started at 7 p.m. I had 8 hours to decide if I was going to smile through another event where my family treated me like an inconvenience. I arrived at the hospital at 6:45 p.m., wearing the appropriate dress my mother had requested, carrying Dr. Martinez's folder because I didn't want to leave it in my car. The medical center's event hall was transformed, elegant lighting, round tables with white linens, a stage with a massive screen for presentations. Easily 200 people in formal attire, champagne flowing, the atmosphere celebratory. My father stood near the stage talking with a group of men in expensive suits, hospital board members and major donors, clearly. My mother worked the room like a political candidate's wife, all gracious smiles. Carter stood with his fiancée, both looking polished and successful. I felt dizzy just walking across the room. My mother spotted me and hurried over. "Emma, you made it. Thank goodness. Your father was worried you'd back out." She assessed my appearance critically. "You look tired. Are you wearing enough makeup?" "Never mind, just smile and try to look healthy. These donors are very important." "Mom, I need to tell you something." "Not now, sweetheart. The program starts in 10 minutes. Go sit with Carter." She was already moving away, drawn to a woman dripping with diamonds. I found Carter at our assigned table. He grinned when he saw me. "Look who decided to show up." "Feeling better. Actually, I need to talk to Dad. I got my MRI results this morning." "Emma, seriously? Tonight?" Carter's expression shifted to irritation. "This is Dad's big night. Can your health drama wait until tomorrow?" Before I could respond, the lights dimmed. My father took the stage, microphone in hand, beaming with pride. "Good evening, everyone. Thank you for being here to celebrate what I consider the crowning achievement of my tenure on this hospital's board of directors." Applause filled the room. The Henderson Memorial Neurology Wing represents a $3 million investment in cutting-edge neurological care. Advanced imaging equipment, specialized surgical suites, a dedicated stroke unit. This facility will save lives. He clicked to the first slide. Architectural renderings of the new wing, gleaming and modern. This project has been my passion for 3 years. I've seen firsthand how critical advanced neurological care is, how much suffering can be prevented with proper facilities and equipment. His voice carried conviction, the practiced delivery of someone who'd given this speech before. "Tonight we're not just dedicating a building. We're making a commitment to our community's health." More applause. I felt sick, and not from my AVM. My father continued, clicking through slides of equipment specifications, patient care statistics, the doctors who'd be working in the new facility. "We've already raised $2.1 million of our $3 million goal. Tonight I'm hoping we can close that gap. Every dollar goes directly to equipping this wing with the technology needed to diagnose and treat complex neurological conditions." A man at the next table raised his hand. "Richard, I have a question. My daughter's been having headaches and dizziness. Should I be concerned? When should someone seek neurological evaluation?" My father smiled indulgently. "That's a great question, James. Look, headaches and dizziness are incredibly common. Usually they're stress-related, nothing serious. Young people especially tend to catastrophize normal symptoms." He laughed and others joined in. "My own daughter's been convinced for months that her occasional dizziness means something terrible is wrong. 3 different doctors told her it's just stress, but she keeps doctor shopping, looking for someone to tell her what she wants to hear." The room went still for me. Everything else faded except my father's voice, casual and dismissive, using me as an anecdote about hypochondria. "The key," my father continued, "is not to rush to the most dramatic diagnosis. Most of the time, these symptoms resolve on their own once the person addresses the actual issue, usually anxiety or lifestyle factors." I stood up. The folder from Dr. Martinez was in my hands, and I was walking toward the stage before I consciously decided to move. My father saw me approaching, his expression shifting to confusion then irritation. "Emma, what are you?" "I'm not exaggerating," I said clearly. My voice carried in the silent room. "I'm not doctor shopping. And 3 doctors didn't tell me it was stress. 2 doctors dismissed me without proper evaluation, and the 3rd one actually ran tests." "Emma, this isn't the time." My father's voice had an edge of warning. "When is the time, Dad? When is it appropriate to tell you that I have a 4-centimeter arteriovenous malformation in my brain that's been bleeding?" I opened the folder, pulling out the MRI images Dr. Martinez had printed. "Is it appropriate now? When you're telling 200 people that I'm a hypochondriac?" The room erupted in whispers. My father's face went pale. "What are you talking about?" he said, but his voice had lost its certainty. I walked to the side of the stage where a hospital staff member stood near the computer controlling the presentation. "Can you display these images? They're MRI scans." The woman looked at my father, who seemed frozen. She took the scans carefully, feeding them through the document scanner. Moments later, my brain appeared on the massive screen behind the stage, gray matter, white vessels, and in the right temporal lobe, a tangled mass that even non-medical people could see was wrong. A man in the front row stood up. I recognized him from my research that afternoon. Dr. James Whitmore, one of the hospital's leading neurosurgeons. "May I?" he asked, gesturing toward the stage. I nodded. He walked up, studied the images on the screen, his expression growing grave. "These are significant findings," he said, his professional voice carrying authority. "This is a large AVM with evidence of hemorrhage. This isn't stress. This isn't anxiety." He turned to look at my father directly. "Richard, your daughter has a serious neurological condition that requires immediate surgical intervention." The silence was absolute. 200 donors and hospital executives stared at the screen, at Dr. Whitmore, at me standing on stage holding my medical records, at my father whose face had gone from pale to ashen. "Emma," my father started, "I didn't know." "You didn't know because you wouldn't listen," I said quietly. "I told you about the headaches. I told you about the dizziness so severe I can't work. I told you I was seeing doctors. And you told everyone here that I was being dramatic. That young people catastrophize. That I was looking for someone to tell me what I wanted to hear." My mother had appeared at the edge of the stage, her hand over her mouth. Carter stood behind her, looking stricken. Dr. Whitmore spoke again, his voice kind but firm. "Miss Henderson, who diagnosed this?" "Dr. Patricia Martinez at the University Medical Center." "Patricia's excellent. Has she recommended treatment?" "Surgery within 2 weeks. She said the risk of major hemorrhage is high without intervention." He nodded slowly. "She's absolutely right." He turned to address the room. "Ladies and gentlemen, I think we're all witnessing something important here. This young woman has a life-threatening condition that was repeatedly dismissed by her family and initially by our medical system. She persisted in seeking proper care despite being told she was exaggerating. That persistence likely saved her life." A woman stood up from one of the front tables. Elegant, 60s, clearly wealthy. "Dr. Whitmore, what would treatment for this condition cost?" "The surgery, hospital stay, and follow-up care?" "Approximately $200,000 without insurance. Miss Henderson is young. I'm guessing her insurance situation might be complicated given the freelance work mentioned." "I'm on a catastrophic plan," I said quietly. "High deductible. I'd be responsible for most of the cost." The woman looked at my father, her expression cold. "Richard, you've been asking us to donate $900,000 to complete your legacy project. A neurology wing named after your father. Meanwhile, your own daughter needs neurological surgery she can't afford, and you've been telling people she's a hypochondriac." My father opened and closed his mouth, no words coming. Another donor spoke up, a man in his 70s. "I was prepared to write a check for $50,000 tonight for the Henderson wing. I'd rather that money go to Miss Henderson's treatment. Direct patient care feels more meaningful than a building with someone's name on it." "I'll match that," the elegant woman said. $100,000 for Emma Henderson's medical care." A third voice, "Add another $30,000 from me. $25,000 here." Within minutes, donors were pledging money, not to my father's legacy project but to my treatment. Dr. Whitmore pulled out his phone, clearly texting someone. "I'm contacting our patient financial services director. We'll set up a dedicated fund for your care." My father stood at the podium, his fundraiser transformed into something he'd never intended. His face showed shame, confusion, and something that might have been the beginning of understanding. My mother was crying. Carter had moved to my side, his arm around my shoulders. "Emma, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry we didn't listen." The evening didn't end with my father's triumphant announcement of a fully funded neurology wing. Instead, it ended with $190,000 pledged directly to my medical care fund, with several donors explicitly stating they were redirecting money they'd planned to give to the Henderson wing. Dr. Whitmore scheduled my surgical consultation for the following week. "You'll have the best care available," he assured me. "And Emma, thank you for speaking up tonight. You probably taught everyone in this room a valuable lesson about actually listening to patients." My father found me as I was leaving, his face haggard. "Emma, I don't know what to say." "You could start with 'I'm sorry,'" I said quietly. You could acknowledge that you dismissed my symptoms for months. That you used me as an example of patient exaggeration while I had a life-threatening condition. That you prioritized your legacy project over actually checking if your daughter was okay. I'm sorry. His voice broke. I'm so sorry. I should have listened. I should have taken you seriously. Yes, I agreed. You should have. My mother joined us, mascara streaking her face. Emma, let us help. Let us be there for the surgery. Please. I'll think about it, I said. But right now I need to focus on treatment, not on managing your guilt. I had surgery 3 weeks later. The procedure took 7 hours. Dr. Martinez and Dr. Whitmore cooperated, successfully removing the AVM with minimal complications. The recovery was long and difficult, but I was alive. My father visited every day, sitting quietly in my hospital room, not filling the silence with justifications or excuses. My mother brought food, books, anything I needed. Carter stayed overnight after the surgery, keeping watch while I slept. They were trying. Whether it was guilt or genuine growth, I didn't know yet. The Henderson Memorial Neurology Wing eventually opened 18 months later, funded at a lower level than originally planned. Several major donors had redirected their gifts to the patient care fund established in my name, which now helped other patients facing expensive neurological treatment. My father never got his name on a building. But he did get to watch his daughter survive something he dismissed as exaggeration. Some families listen when you tell them you're struggling. Others need to see your brain scans on a screen in front of 200 witnesses before they take you seriously. I'd learned which kind I had. And I'd learned that sometimes, the most important thing you can do is refuse to be silent, even when silence is expected. Even when the room is full of donors and your father's legacy is on the line. Even when everyone has already decided you're exaggerating. Sometimes, the only way to be heard is to put your truth on the biggest screen available and let everyone see what you've been trying to tell them all along.